call my dad, call my friends. I'm like, I get to fly a jet. I get to fly a jet tomorrow. This is literally going to be crazy. All right, guys. My name's Bryce. I'm 23 years old. Just got back from PIC single pilot type training on the CE 525. Going to be flying a CJ and a couple of CJ2s for a charter company. So I originally got into aviation because the lifestyle of it, the travel aspect, I absolutely, like I said, absolutely love traveling, love adventure, and thought it was pretty wild that you could make an entire career. Your job is a vacation. Your entire career, you're traveling around, seeing all these amazing places. Your hotels are covered, your expenses are covered, and yeah, really your job is just a vacation. So that was what really initially intrigued me, what made me fall in love with the idea. And so then I decided, okay, I want to learn to fly and pursue this career. So then told my dad is a captain for Alaska. He was a flight instructor before, so he reinstated his CFI when I decided I wanted to learn to fly, and actually started searching for. He was interested in getting just a small single engine piston plane. Ended up finding one out in North Carolina, and so me and him went out to North Carolina, flew out there on Southwest, got picked up by the owner of the plane. He took us over, and basically my parents bought the plane. We hop in and started the journey back from North Carolina. So pretty cool. My first ever flight at the controls of an airplane was about 10 miles from Kitty Hawk, the very first flight ever. And so we started flying back, made it to about Georgia, northern Georgia or so, and there were a whole bunch of ice storms, really crazy winter storms along the whole southern United States. So had to cut it short, leave the airplane in Georgia. We had some family there in Georgia, so they actually just came, picked us up. We got to spend the night with them, go to dinner with them. They dropped us off at Hartsfield in the morning, and flew back, and then continued the trip a couple of weeks later once the weather had cleared, and took us a grand total from the first trip, and then second and third, or first trip and the second trip when we went back out there, took us a total of about 25 hours to fly a little Beechcraft Musketeer back from North Carolina back here to Phoenix, Arizona at Deer Valley. And so the first 25 hours in my logbook are straight and level flying, no maneuvers hardly at all, a couple of landings, but really just like a lot of straight and level cross-country flying. And so that's kind of interesting as well. So I ended up, typically private pilot's license, 40 to 50 hours or so. Mine ended up being about 70 because I really got into the actual training portion of it with about 25 hours in my logbook already. So brought that back, did my private pilot training in that, and then 2019 I graduated. Then I had all this free time, and I wanted to jump right into this career as quick as possible. So started studying a ton for the instrument, for the commercial single, all that stuff, and basically took that next semester. I graduated a semester early, so that next semester that I would have been in school, just studied hard, did my instrument rating, my commercial single, and my commercial multi within a span of about 2 months or so, and was working at an FBO here at Sky Harbor. And shortly after, probably about a month after getting my commercial multi-engine license, I spoke with a gentleman who flew into this FBO in a Phenom 100. I noticed him flying at single pilot multiple times, so I just figured I'll ask him. One of the times that he came in, hey, do you ever have anybody up in the right seat, or do you just fly this? Is it just always single pilot? He says, oh no, yeah. If you got your instrument and your commercial multi-engine license, I'll have you up there. So we exchanged contact info, and I told him, yeah, I'd absolutely love any opportunity to be able to fly with you in that. And sure enough, about a week or two later, I get a call from him saying that he's got this trip out to Midland, Texas and back, and the right seat's available. So he invited me along on that. I obviously jumped at it quicker than you could possibly imagine, because because up until this point, I've flown. It was mind blowing to fly a multi-engine like a light twin, the Seneca, because you'd like so much power as you're rolling down the runway. It's wild. Never, I mean, like not even anywhere in the neighborhood of flying a jet. And so, so jumped at the opportunity, showed up. I like call my dad, call my friends. I'm like, I get to fly a jet. I get to fly a jet tomorrow. This is literally going to be crazy. And so, show up here, flew out to Midland. Obviously, he was flying, but he let me do radios, and which was another wild experience because obviously knew the flight level started at 18,000 feet and everything, but have never on frequency used the word flight level ever. And so we're climbing up, climbed up to about what were we? I think 42,000 feet, right up the service ceiling of that Phenom, which is just mind blowing, coming from about 10-15 hours in the Seneca to then jumping into the jet and going up to 42,000 feet. And I mean, using all the high altitude phraseology on the frequencies, which was wild as well, which I had never done. And it was a summer day too, so it could have been a totally clear day, and it still would have been incredible. But you even had the added summer day in Phoenix, so you have all the added cumulus clouds all over the place. And so we're punching through clouds, and that was again like my first time really in actual instrument conditions. So just an all around just unbelievably incredible experience. And then it basically, I told him, yeah, please let me know whenever you have any other opportunities come up. He reached out to me with a couple. Apparently, liked flying with me. Reached out to me with a couple other opportunities to fly this Phenom with him. And then I would see it on the schedule. Again, I've had access to the schedule. I was working at this FBO at Sky Harbor, and had access to the schedule. When I would see it on the schedule, I would reach out to the ground ops team and ask if the right seat happened to be available. If it was, then they would list me on the trip. They would send me along on it, and it basically got to the point where he was reaching out to me with opportunities. I was reaching out to them when I would see it on the schedule and it hadn't been brought to my attention, and just jumping at every opportunity I could. And finally ended up getting to the point where they gave me, for this charter department of the company, they gave me uniforms, like the company uniforms, and would reach out to me with, hey, we got this trip, we got that trip, or whatever. We're looking for somebody in the right seat. Are you available? And so then again, maneuver my schedule however I could. And so it just really ended up working my way into, it was just the wildest transition. I'm asking like, hey, is there any chance I can go? Any chance I can go? To then, I've done it so many times that then now they are actually reaching out to me. Hey, can you fill the right seat? Can you fill the right seat? Absolutely love flying with the captain that I was flying with that company. It's an absolute blast. That first flight in a jet was about, I was at, I have to check my logbook exactly, but it was probably somewhere right in the neighborhood of about like 330 or 340 hours or so. And so then ended up flying that Phenom for a total of about 170 or 180 hours or so. So putting me past the that 500-hour mark. And then meanwhile, also a couple other, there's another Part 91 management company that was based at the FBO. And so I met the gentleman who owned the company, asked him way early on before I even had the instrument or commercial, any of that stuff, when I just had the private pilot's license, asked him what the right seat minimums were, and just really what their requirements are for SICs. And he said, yeah, instrument and commercial multi. So this was before I had either of those ratings. And so I, the second I got my instrument and commercial multi, reached out to him and told him, hey, I'm qualified, have these qualifications you're asking for. Please let me know if there's any opportunity to fly for you. And then he says, myself and another guy who's working on the line for the same company, who also had his instrument and commercial multi, he was interested in hiring both of us, and so for contract flying. And so he says, yeah, I'm looking to put together some ground training and to do some in-house SIC type training for you and this other guy that was working on the line. And so said, absolutely, just let me know when you need me there, and looking forward to the training. We did the ground training. We went up in a Citation Bravo, and actually went up and did the SIC in-house type training, the steep turns, the stall series, the 3 takeoffs and landings, the V1 cut, single engine approach in the actual jet. So cruising around in a Bravo at 200 knots south of Mesa Gateway, doing steep turns at 200 knots in a Citation Bravo, which is just wild to just be thinking. I mean, we're looking out and they're calling traffic 172s and stuff that are like a couple thousand feet below us, and we're there 5,000 feet, 200 knots, doing steep turns, and then doing not touch and goes, but full stop taxi backs at Mesa Gateway. Just unbelievably incredible, because again, that was about at 330 hours or so, I would say, 320 or so roughly. And so did that training, did a few contracts with this company on a Citation Bravo, a CJ3, and a King Air 350, because they manage these different aircraft. And then yeah, then a whole bunch of the flying on that Phenom, and then a couple other people. I did a contract on a Merlin. That's basically that kind of the swearing Merlin, the shorter version of the Metroliner, basically. And then a contract on the Hondajet with Taylor. It's an absolute blast as well. So just really, I mean, all kinds of different. You get a job at an FBO, and just like the connections are unbelievable. So for anybody looking to do this, okay, how do you get into something like this at 300, 400, 500 hours? Get these different contract opportunities. I literally tell people. So first and foremost, have a good relationship with God. The Bible says in Matthew 6:33, pursue first the kingdom of God and live righteously, and all these things will be added to you. And it's so true. You put God first in your life, and it's unbelievable that you'll be blessed abundantly. Trust me when I say that. And secondly, just literally get a job at an FBO, as a customer service agent, as a line service representative, in whatever capacity you can work at an FBO. Get a job there, and get the job at the FBO, but also be outgoing, be friendly, talk to people, talk to any and everybody that walks in through the door, because you hear that adage, if you want to fly planes, be at an airport, and it sounds okay, obviously that makes sense and everything, but truly, if you get the job at the FBO, if you're friendly and outgoing, if you stay in your little bubble the whole time and don't talk to anybody, you'll be around the jets, be around the pilots, and it's an amazing experience, but you might not really meet anybody. If you're outgoing, you just talk to people, ask questions, be friendly. It's amazing, the opportunities, and then somebody knows somebody that has an opportunity, or you're flying for one guy and he likes the way you fly, he likes your attitude, so he recommends you to another guy, and it's just, and the whole thing kind of unfolds. So it's just, it's wild. So that's what I would say. Just get a job at an FBO. The busier the FBO, the better. The more corporate aviation activity, the better. And just ask people what kind of planes do you have in your fleet? What's the fleet size? Where are you guys based? What are your right seat minimums? Stuff like that. And you'll be amazing. Just like the responses you get. Get contact info from people. Hey, like once I get to the right or to these, whatever your hour requirements are. Once I reach those hours, then I'll reach out to you, send you a resume and stuff, and then yeah, the response. Everybody, it's like that. I've also heard the analogy. Pilots are when you land that spot as a pilot, or corporate aviation, airlines, or whatever. When you get that whatever position, it's like I've heard the analogy that it's like you were in the water drowning, you just got pulled up onto the boat, and then you immediately want to throw the rope back into the next, into the water to rescue the next person and pull them up with you. And so once you've made it to that spot, so I just got hired by this new company. I'm immediately wanting to help other friends who are in the similar spot, like, hey, let me see if I can get you a position. And so most pilots are like that. You meet them at the FBO, you ask them, hey, like, what are the chances you'd help me with whatever? And they've been in that position. Everybody's been in that position of low time, trying to build those hours, especially that 500-hour realm, 500 to 1,000, 1,500, where you're trying to figure out how am I going to build this time. Everybody's been there, so everybody wants to help. And especially if you're friendly, if you're outgoing, and if you're humble, and you're just looking for help, you're looking for these people to give you some direction, people will help you out. So that's definitely the way to go.
Hey gang, here from Hangar Talk. Thank you so much for plugging into the channel, liking, subscribing. We appreciate all you continuous subscribers, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.